Hello friends, neighbors, John your WhiskyNeighbour here, welcome down to the Nook. And I thought I better open this up because I did make a social media post about Glasgow 770. This tall, but only 500 ml bottle is on sale at Wine & Beyond. I got it at Salem at Wine & Beyond, a store I frequent often and one I do enjoy. And it is a good price. I put a bit on social media because I had an interesting experience there. Actually, the first bottle I bought was corked. Cork was bad. This one, I don't smell that, so I'm gonna get into the whiskey. I haven't had any of this 1770 Glasgow, except for the bad one a few days ago. Then I thought, you know what, I'll sip it against this Lindors just because it is also a Lowland. It's also getting low, so I may as well do a comparison with you guys. This is ex-bourbon and finished in new oak. Pour something, if you have something from 1770 Glasgow, why don't you pour that? 3, 4. Thanks for coming back. You know, I've said before, this tall bottle, like you can see it's much taller. Sure, this one's more robust, but this tall bottle is only 500 mils. Boy, I got suckered with that one, but it was still a good deal. It is on sale here in St. Albert, Alberta, Canada, about 54 bucks Canadian, so I don't feel bad. I wish it was a 700 mil, but you know, I wanted to try their release and that's an okay price here. Now that I have a release that isn't moldy cork, that was tough. You know, Wine & Beyond, I've been shopping your hall since you opened. I went to that building when it was a Future Shop, but now it's you. I was shocked at, it took several people and lots of weird looks when I had about the same in this and I said, I just want to change the bottle. I think you guys will do better next time. I know you can. At any rate, it's really good to treat customers like myself that buy a fair amount of whiskey from you guys, maybe with a little more belief. Coming back to the whiskey, this Glasgow 1770 is ex-bourbon finished in virgin oak. I don't have an age stamp, but it does say 46% natural color non-chill. So I'm liking it, just like Vin has been saying lots from No Nonsense Whiskey. If you don't follow Vin, you should. Great guy doing lots of great fun things in the whiskey community. Back on the 1770, just their, I think kind of like their original, what says the original release. What's it like on the nose? I would say it is bright fruit, sweet fruit, peach, apricot, that kind of thing. I'm getting light orange, but like sweet, like mandarin orange. It says fresh and fruity, and this time I'm getting that out of this bottle. Let's try it on the palate. Hope you have something nice. Sancha. I will say the beginning of that palate definitely has some of those fruits. But very quickly, there's a lot of backbone and husk. You know, 46% virgin oak. I do have oak. I've got some woodiness, some tannins, some spicing, some light peppers that I believe is coming a lot from the casking. The fruit moves more into orchard, less off stone fruit for me. And there's some sugars. The coating nature, you know, non-chill. I expected it to be a little more coating. It's almost drying on the back end, which again could be more of that virgin oak. Let's try another sip. Sancha. That's good though. Second sip came back into fruity. Now I've got more peaches. Really, like that's a surprising amount. I think, oh, sorry, name slipped me, but I've heard a few people talk about this and they've often talked about that fruiting, which is also why when I had the bad cork, it was bad. I was like, I can't drink this whiskey. I'm going to dump it. That's not the case here. So do check your corks. Corks can go bad. Here, it really is lots of different fruits, leaning into sweeter fruits. Now that I'm second, third, I'm a little bit more into pear orchards, a little more typical for me for ex-bourbon and Scotch. It started much sweeter though, drying. The more I talk, the finish is drying and oaky. Has to be new oak. Anyways, I'm liking it. It's really, for me, a fresh crack because I've got to put out of my mind that bad cork. Certainly, if you're around, Wine & Beyond at $54, it's decent. Just know that this super tall bottle that looks like a full bottle of whiskey is not a full bottle of whiskey. Well, as I do, I like to compare. It helps my palate understand a whiskey more. And I've got this Lindors Lowland Single Malt Scotch MCD XCIV, which I can't think fast enough to decode. But it is also 46%. I believe it's natural color and non-chill. But it is a different casking. This Lindors has ex-bourbon. I believe it has ex-sherry, and it certainly has ex-wine. It actually says it right on here, so let me see. Yep, bourbon, sherry, and wine. So I like to do this comparison because it's also a Lowland. It's nice to have another Lowland on the shelf. I don't have enough Lowland Scotches. Let's try this Lindors on the nose. Well, it's also kind of sweet. A lot more into lemon and pear. Not in the... Yeah, this has a different quality. Now I'm getting actually a little bit of other fruit, almost a grape, which is interesting. But here, lemon and pear, and a little bit of soap. I know that sounds really negative, and it is a little bit, but a little bit of soapy notes, floral notes. That's it. Like when I get more potpourri, floral, rose kind of notes, they feel a little bit artificial, a little bit like, you know, soaps can be scented. That's what I mean. Yep, let's try it on the palate. Sláinte. Way better on the palate. Now this is getting near the bottom. Creamy, creamy, fruity. That floral note goes away, which I'm very thankful for. Mouthfeel is stronger than this. It is like rounder. Not as aggressive, not as spicy, not as back-ended. Right now, just across the palate, creamy orchard fruits, sugars, a little bit of vanilla. I'm not getting that wine cask. Maybe a bit of white wine because it's a little bit drying, but not as drying as this. Interesting. Second sip, Sláinte. The palate on this one got so much better than the nose. Shockingly better. Now I've got a little more bitters and tannins and whatnot. I was going to say when I went in, the nose on this one just really was better. I know I haven't cleared my palate, but much more fruit and peach. An oaky on the palate. That was fun. This is just a bottle opening, but I'm glad that I got a different bottle of this. And now I'll keep an eye out. This 1770 is starting well, and that whole 46 natural non-chill is good. Now I've heard in the UK, they released the 700ml for the very same price as this 500. So that's what should happen here in North America too, because, you know, great, $54 Canadian is a good price, but that's a good price on a 700ml. On a 500ml, well, I'm glad I have it. Thanks for joining me. Let me know, have you had anything from 1770 Glasgow? Have you had this one, the original? What are your thoughts? Always better with your comments. Cheers.